After a decade of marriage, what was the worst wedding anniversary ever? Yesterday was our 10-year anniversary. I brought flowers to my wife's office, and I found her with some guy nuzzling her neck and giggling. My wife and I were married 10 years ago yesterday. She has been working on a big project for the last few months. For the last 4 weeks or so, she has been putting in extra time, staying late and going in early, to meet her deadline. She tells me this is a career maker for her. I work in construction. With the rain we have had, we worked crazy hours trying to make up for the time we missed. So, I work 12 hours on the days the weather's nice, and sometimes a little longer. If it's raining when I get up, I don't go in. Some days we get sent home when it starts pouring because it's too dangerous. I usually hit the gym for an hour or two. On Thursday, we started at 6 a.m. mid-morning, and then it started to rain hard. We went home. I went to the gym as usual and decided to cut the workout short and head downtown to see my wife, Megan. I wanted to give her flowers and make plans for dinner that night if at all possible. We really haven't seen much of each other this week. I went to bed at about 9 p.m. and she still wasn't home. She called earlier and said she was again working late. Not unusual for the past month. I stopped, got some flowers, and went into her building at about 12:30. Nicole was at the receptionist's desk. I asked her if, since I got here later than I wanted, she would put the flowers on Megan's desk. She said, "I don't think they went to lunch yet. Why not drop them off yourself?" She buzzed the door to get back to the offices. The place was deserted. I went to her office, and the door was closed. I always walk in unless the receptionist tells me she is in a meeting. I walk in, and some guy is standing behind her, nuzzling her neck. She is reaching back over his head. She is giggling as she is saying, "We've got to get this done." I am gut punched. I slammed the flowers down, said happy anniversary, and walked out. I didn't hear what she said. I just went past Nicole, said goodbye, and left. I made it to the elevators and out of the building, then my phone started ringing. I bawled my eyes out all the way home. I went into the garage, pulled my camping gear out of the rafters, and took off. I drove about 2 hours to a state park. I had no idea what to do. I just had to run. I hiked a trail we have been on in the past. It was about a 3-hour hike. I don't drink much, so I had no booze. I just sat there, thinking. Looking back, I am glad I was in a rush. Normally, I bring a .45 with me camping. We have black bears, which generally scare us off but get aggressive if cubs are around. The way I was feeling, I might have eaten the barrel that night. I turned off my phone because Megan was bombarding me with calls. I left the park to get reception and turned it on to see my good friend calling. I called him back. He said Megan called him to check on me and make sure I didn't do anything stupid. We talked a bit, and I told him I had to think this through and would catch up on Friday. So, while I am thinking about this, I go over our marriage from the beginning to see what I missed. We come from completely opposite backgrounds. My grandfather raised me with my mom. He taught me about life. He had a little saying about everything. He told me marriage would be the hardest job I'd ever have. You had to work on it every day. God, I miss him. We did not have much, but we heard Mom and Grandpa having many discussions about bills. They worked hard, and my brother and I did not miss out on anything we knew of. Megan was born into money. Not overly rich, but very comfortable. She went to a great college, always had nice clothes, a new car, etc., and she is beautiful. She's an 11/10. We met, hit it off, and began dating. I was dumbfounded at how such a woman would ever be with me. We dated quite a while before she told me about her parents and her lifestyle. Our friends called us the model couple because they thought we were so good looking we had to be models. Her family was not as kind, afraid that economic differences would come into play. Her dad and I started to get along, but her mom took some convincing. She graduates, gets her first job, and we plan on getting married. We agreed between us that we would expose each other to the lives that we lead. I took her whitewater rafting, she took me to the symphony, we went ziplining, we went to an art opening, etc. We agreed we had to experience each other's interests. She was really enthused about the more physical things we did. I kind of like the symphony and such. I even own 2 tuxes now. I look back and do not see any red flags. In her first 2 jobs, she quit because the men all tried to get in her pants. She was paraded out in front for photo ops and invited to conferences when other newbies were not. At dinner at a conference, a partner tried to get her drunk, then tried to force himself into her room that night. She quit. The next job was the same, and she quit again. This third job is women as some of the partners, and none of that crap happens in her workplace. She seems very happy. We seemed very happy. So now, on Friday, I am home. I called her. I asked where she was. She was back at work. I, being the smart mouth that I was, said that the marriage was taking second place to her job. She responded that since I would not talk, what was she to do? Fair enough. She will be home in an hour. So, I wait. I want to save our marriage. I wish to make up for any shortcomings that I may have had.